Mr. Speaker, in making this announcement, the Minister has shown a complete disregard for the comprehensive planning process for the region in an attempt to ram through changes. Now, leaked documents from the process show that these changes are completely against the recommendations of the Regional Advisory Council in the area. The NDP is clearly not satisfied and wants to focus on the demands of their special interest groups. So again, Mr. Speaker, through you to the Minister, why are you spending so much time and effort to avoid consulting with a full representation of the community, not a hand-picked representation of the community?
Honourable Minister.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And of course, in August of 2018, the Clearwater Trails Partnership wrote me a letter that asked for the establishment of a West Country Blues. This recommendation comes with it, that a public land use zone that people asked for. Mr. Speaker, the Clearwater County called this a positive step forward. The Regional Advisory Council was made up of local Reeves, residents, First Nations. They conducted 21 town halls, Mr. Speaker. I know we didn't do exactly what the RAC advice said because, for example, this proposal comes with it Indigenous co-management for the parks areas, and that wasn't in the original RAC advice, Mr. Speaker. So we are deviating in places where we think it's right to do so, Mr. Speaker, because that's our responsibility.
First supplemental.
Mr. Speaker, the Clearwater Trail Initiative, I spoke to them again today, they have not been consulted. That's what they say. Clearwater County says they have not been consulted. The town of Rocky Mountain House says they have not been consulted. The West Fraser and those type of people working within the Bighorn have not been consulted. The Minister has only done consultation with select invite-only groups inside our constituency. Will she commit to holding an open public town hall open to all right away with me? Right on.
Thank you, The Honourable Minister.
Well, in fact, we do have a telephone town hall so that all Albertans can participate, Mr. Speaker. We are waiting to finalize the details on that, and as soon as those details are available, whether it's this week or next, we will be sharing them with the House. Mr. Speaker, I have heard from other constituents, the Honourable Member's own constituents, and I find it so curious that he's not listening to them. Here are some. Declaring the area west of Nordegg and Wildland Provincial Park aligns with our community's vision for the spaces we call home. That's Holland from Nordegg. Laurie from Nordegg. Like the Wild West, it appears people are not adhering to common sense rules and incredible wild areas are being destroyed, and so that's why we want to have protection for the wildland provincial parks.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Second supplemental.
Again, Mr. Speaker, nobody's saying there shouldn't be protection in the West Country. In fact, there should. What the question is about the consultation process this minister followed to get to this spot. This NDP's record on consultation is terrible. They have abused Albertans over and over during their consultation process. Stakeholders in the public will now have until January 31st to provide feedback on this government's announcement. So my question to the minister is this. Will she commit today publicly in this House to release all of the stakeholder public feedback received once the consultation period is complete, or will she continue to hide it as she has for other consultation?
Honourable Minister.
Well, you know, one of the things we're consulting on, Mr. Speaker, is the concept of a trails pass. We want to hear from local off-highway vehicle organizations. It's something they've been asking for years, is whether it is feasible to have a trails pass to access some of these new areas, such as the West Country Blues, after we make those requisite investments in them, Mr. Speaker. I find it curious that the member stands in his place and rejects those kinds of investments in his own backyard for people that are his neighbours, that are his relatives, Mr. Speaker. Why is he rejecting jobs and economic development in his own constituency?